Welcome to County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Vigili, and welcome to this special edition of County Report This Week. As 2019 comes to an end, we would like to bring you some of the most important stories that impacted us this year. After years of planning and construction, the Wheaton Library and Recreation Center complex opened doors this year. Over 3,500 people showed up for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Here is the story.
This is important for the Wheaton community. This library, the old library, was aging, and the rec center was small and not adequate and didn't compare with the other rec centers in the county. Now you've got a rec center that's up to speed and meets the needs of this community. You've got a new library that meets the needs of this community. You're all going to be welcome here. This is going to be a tremendous asset for all of you.
It's so big and bright and colorful. We're just in the entryway, so I'm really excited to see what the library itself looks like, what the rec center looks like, but it looks really great from here.
Did you think you were going to shake that many hands?
I had no idea. I can't believe it's taken this long for these people to be able to get inside. It's just an astounding crowd. I feel like I was at a Walmart opening on Black Friday or something. It's wonderful. This is one of the most exciting crowds I've seen. It's just it's so nice to see how much they value it, and I think both the rec and the library facilities are going to get a lot of use up here. It's nice. I'm really glad we got this done.
Like there's like a bookstore, there's like a playground, there's like a big new library.
It has like gyms, arts and crafts room.
It's state-of-the-art facility. It's just beautiful. We're so excited to check out the children's books and the children's programs that are here.
Wonderful to have something like this in our area. We're really happy that Montgomery County put it together, and we're really excited, and everybody's looking forward to enjoying it.
I hope that this library will become one of the best libraries in America.
County Executive Mark Elridge signed the Promoting Community Trust Executive Order. The order reaffirms current county policy and improves community security. Here are the events from that day.
The county has 4 of the 10 most diverse cities in the country.
With that preamble and reassuring that the county stands behind immigrants, County Executive Mark Elridge signed the county's first Promoting Community Trust Executive Order. Surrounded by all 9 council members and community leaders, Elridge reaffirmed current county policy that immigrants can engage with county departments, including law enforcement, with reassurance that such engagement will not be used to assist in civil immigration enforcement.
Enforcing immigration law is the sole responsibility of the federal government of the United States. It is not in the interests of Montgomery County to utilize its limited resources to facilitate the enforcement of civil immigration law. The Promoting Community Trust Executive Order aims to reaffirm current county policy and improve community security by ensuring that immigrant and otherwise vulnerable communities can engage with county departments, including public safety departments, with an assurance that such engagement will not be used to assist in civil immigration enforcement or a federal discriminatory practice. Further, the present order is intended to ensure that the constitutional rights of immigrant county residents are not violated and that county benefits and services are provided to residents regardless of country of birth or immigration status.
I want to make sure that people understand that it is a fallacy when folks try to somehow scapegoat immigrants as if we are here to somehow destroy the fabric of this country, a country that was really formed on the basis of being a welcoming country, welcoming people who were facing persecution, welcoming those who wanted that American dream.
The Promoting Community Trust Executive Order was effective upon signing. Executive Elridge also signed into law the Racial Equity and Social Justice Act. The act aims to establish a formal process to address racial equity and social justice issues in Montgomery County.
We're not done until the work that's embodied in this legislation is passed down and activated by every department in the county, and that these conversations become normal. And that's what we want to do, is normalize the ability to talk about race and to talk about equity. And that will make us relatively unique in America.
I had the opportunity to run for the county council and expanded my portfolio of policy from education to so many other issues, so housing, healthcare, economic attainment, all of those issues, access to transportation, all of those issues began again to manifest a pattern of disparities, persistent disparities that to this day continue. And I began to really, truly then reflect on the notion that if these were a result of structural policies and a history that had perpetuated this idea of having to grab onto power, then we needed to come together and put forth legislation, not a policy, legislation that then would be an instrument to begin to dismantle all of these persistent disparities.
This was work that we've been doing for several months, that we came together today. The county executive signed an important piece of legislation that will change lives, not just our own personal lives, but it will change lives for those in our future generations, that people will now know that in Montgomery County, I guess they always knew, but this codifies that what we should have codified years ago, and that is that everyone will be looked at with racial equity and social justice.
As part of the process to select Marcus Jones as the new chief of police, County Executive Mark Elridge spent 3 hours listening to county residents express their opinions about current police practices and priorities for the police chief.
I'm going to be very brief. My intention is to say as little as possible so that you can make as many comments as possible. So let me tell you what my basic intention is. I wanted to do this forum before he got into the selection of the police chief. I didn't want to do interviews with chief candidates until myself and members of the committee and hopefully the candidates, because I've suggested that if they're not here, they should watch it streaming, and if they don't watch it streaming, they should watch it otherwise, because I'm going to have questions that relate to what kind of comments we've heard from the community.
Both elected officials listened carefully during the forum. Residents provided feedback via a live survey. Results of this survey will be utilized to finalize interview questions for police chief candidates.
I would like to see that type of cultural sensitivity training while they are in the academy as opposed to after they get out of the academy.
The consequences of unconscious bias. I've been seeing it over and over again. And I'm speaking of my own too. I've certainly been learning how I have been unconscious in the past.
We need a chief that fully understands community policing. We don't need another jailer. We don't need a warden. We need a humanitarian that understands the law.
Coming up on County Report this week, this was the year of major transportation improvements, including the implementation of Ride-On Flex. And a local park turned 50. We return to Brookside Gardens for that marquee celebration. Those stories and more when we come back.
Hey everybody, Adam Ortiz here talking to you about how to gift outside of the box this holiday season. So there's a lot of things that we can do to give to our loved ones while giving back to the environment. So one way is to give the gift of energy savings. So a new air filter or LED bulb, stuff that you can pick up from your local home improvement store, can go a long way. Also using reusable materials as gifts, such as this water bottle or this reusable bag, are a way to save our environment and look cool while doing it. Also, if we have to buy stuff, there's a lot of resources right here in our county. So from the Agricultural Reserve, there's lots of fruits and craft beer and wines and things that we can buy, as well as arts and crafts from around the area. We can also give the gift of experiences, so a gift certificate for a dance class, a massage, or yoga can go a long way while providing a low carbon footprint. So this holiday season, as we give, let's not be a Scrooge to the environment. These ideas and more are available on our website, and we're wishing you a very happy and safe holiday season.
Welcome back to this Year in Review edition of County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. 2019 has been a year with several transportation improvements. County Executive Mark Elrich joined the dedication of the first protected intersection in the Mid-Atlantic region. The intersection connects a new half-mile cycle track with a previously completed section to form a 1.2-mile bikeway that protects cyclists from vehicles. The bikeway connects directly to the Silver Spring Transit Center and includes the first bicycle traffic signal in Maryland.
This actually gives you a way of getting around basically the perimeter of Silver Spring, and it's safe, and that's a good thing. I would ride a safe, I would take a safe path that's a little bit longer before I took a straight path that was unsafe. And that's what this does. I think it makes it a little bit safer. I'm gonna actually come out and try this path on my bike. It should be interesting. There was nothing sheltering me going up Wayne Avenue, but once I make connection with this over by downtown on the east side, I should be able to take a spin around. I want to see what it feels like.
The protected intersection increases separation between vehicles and pedestrians and those riding bicycles and scooter, better protecting them as stated in the goals of the county's Vision Zero initiative. There are plans for additional projects like this at Bethesda and Woodmont Avenues in Bethesda and Cameron and Fenton Streets in Silver Spring. And this year, the county's transportation department launched Ride On Flex, an on-demand bus service that started as a pilot program in Rockville and Wheaton, Glenmont. The program has improved access and provided more connections to the existing transit network. Michael Bruin tells us more.
Recently, County Executive Mark Elrich and other officials launched a new pilot program to bring on-demand transit services to connect riders to transit hubs, commercial centers, and their homes. During the pilot program, Ride On Flex will provide corner-to-corner service in defined zones located in Rockville and Glenmont-Wheaton areas. Standard ride-on fares will apply to the new service, which means riders will pay no more than $2 as they board.
I'm looking forward to the pilot. I hope the pilot's results match our expectations. I actually hope the pilot's results exceed our expectations, because I think this is a way of the future. I could see this implementation in neighborhoods around Montgomery County and making it possible for people to today would say, but for that first and last mile, I would be a transit user. And if we can make this work, I think we're going to see a boost in transit. It's the direction we need to go in. It's the right thing in terms of the environment. It's the right thing in terms of the mess we have on the roads and trying to clean that up.
Riders will be able to make reservations for same-day on-demand service to and from any location within the service zones.
Today makes the beginning of the next generation of transit in Montgomery County. Ride On Flex is DOT's first venture into on-demand public transit, and we are excited to be the first jurisdiction in the Washington region to innovate with this kind of service.
The 11 passenger buses are wheelchair accessible and offer free Wi-Fi. Flex will operate Monday through Friday in the Rockville zone from 9 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. and in the Glenmont-Wheaton zone during peak periods 6 to 9 a.m. and 3:30 to 7 p.m. Flex takes only cash and Smart Trip cards, passes, and tokens. For County Report This Week, I'm Michael Bruin.
A local gem celebrated its 50th anniversary this year. Brookside Gardens has been a loved part of our community since 1969. And for this milestone celebration, Executive Elrich and other officials gather in the gardens.
Brookside Gardens is celebrating a very big milestone.
In its 50 years, Brookside Garden has made a significant mark on our community in this area, leading the way in horticulture, environmental stewardship and education, and of course in creating special moments in people's lives.
The County Executive of Montgomery County awards the certificate to Brookside Gardens in recognition and appreciation of 50 years of award-winning 50-acre public display garden. Since 1969, Brookside Gardens Intricately designed landscapes, permanent and seasonal displays, conservatories, and engaging programs and events, including the Wings of Fancy live butterfly exhibit and the Winter Garden of Lights display, enticing over 400,000 visitors each year. Brookside Gardens is an integral part of the community, has been part of many milestones in the lives of our residents. Congratulations to the friends, donors, volunteers, and staff who work to preserve this beautiful landscape for generations to come.
Several people joined the celebration, including local resident Helene Myers, who was once a longtime volunteer.
Oh, I love it. What's not to love? The only thing, and I have to admit this, I never know where I am or where I'm going. I just wander, and I get to see all of it.
Since 1969, Brookside Gardens has grown into a place for Montgomery County residents to enjoy, a place to escape the daily hustle and bustle of life.
Well, Brookside Gardens' value to our community only increases over time. In today's increasingly busy and distracting world, it's so important to have places where you can get grounded, reflect, and re-energize.
Brookside is a great place. I mean, I grew up in this part of the county, live here now. Whether it's bringing my kids here for the Garden of Lights or the butterfly exhibit or just walking around here myself to clear my mind. It's just such a great place, and it brings community together.
This is a place where memories have been made and special moments have occurred, meetups and marriages even, and it really is just an extraordinary place for everybody.
Mindfulness. That's what officials encourage participants to practice while venturing around this 50-acre gem.
It's become known for its many spectacular displays, as well as the annual Garden of Lights holiday display, the annual Wings of Fancy live caterpillar and butterfly show.
Reporting in Wheaton, Jordan Lindsay for County Report This Week.
This year, the county made strides in expanding affordable housing. Executive Elridge announced that the county's Housing Initiative Fund invested nearly $104 million on affordable housing. This represents the highest level of financing in the fund's 30-year history.
So we're here to celebrate this 30-year high in loan financing and to renew our commitment to making sure we keep going forward in the same strong way that we did this last year. We've invested in 22 multifamily properties, 12 existing and 10 new constructions. The investment resulted in 3,254 new and renovated units, of which 61%, 1,982, are affordable.
Affordable housing units offer rents to people with incomes between 30 and 60% of the county's median income. On the topic of housing, this was the year that the Department of Housing and Community Affairs completed its 2-year initiative to inspect 686 apartment buildings, a new protocol that is the most aggressive among large jurisdictions in the Washington area. Over the 2-year period, more than 22,000 apartment units were inspected and more than 31,000 violations were identified. 96% of those violations have been corrected.
My hope in the long run is that I don't collect any fines. What I'd like to have happen out of this is that landlords realize that we're actually inspecting, and rather than going through the process of getting fined and cited for violation and all this other stuff, that people start maintaining their buildings on their own. After years of neglect, I think landlords in this county got used to the idea that you didn't have to do anything. Setting this marker down sends a very clear message that we expect the buildings to be maintained, and there'll be consequences if they're not maintained. And so this is really, really a step forward for us.
If you're a tenant and live in an apartment where you think there are housing code violations, here's what you can do. You can call 311 and file a complaint anonymously. County inspectors can then be scheduled to inspect the property. Coming up on County Report this week, MCPS opened doors to a brand new elementary school in Clarksburg, while another school in Potomac celebrated its 50th anniversary. We'll take you to both. Stay with us. County Report this week. We'll be right back.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.
Welcome back to this Year in Review edition of County Report This Week. I'm Lorna Virgili. This year, Wayside Elementary School in Potomac turned 50. The school celebrated the milestone with an alum who played a role in the school's history. Susan Kennedy reports.
Andrew Friedson is a proud graduate of Montgomery County Public Schools, and it all started at Wayside Elementary School in Potomac. This weekend, Councilmember Friedson returned to his old stomping grounds to mark the 50th anniversary of this place that he refers to as home.
And it is particularly great to be here with Miss Kurt. Miss Kurt, I didn't have the privilege and pleasure of being in Miss Kurt's class, but my brother Craig, my brother Craig and my sister Michelle both had Miss Kurt here at Wayside, and it's just truly great to see you. And you heard a lot today about a village that's here, and in so many ways, my village has a ground zero that started right here. And this is one of the great thrills to be able to represent the only place that I've ever called home.
Marceline Kurt was one of the first teachers to open Wayside in 1969. She remembers helping out with last-minute finishing touches to the school, like gluing down carpet and putting together furniture.
Well, it was funny because it's a standard joke. There was no running water in the building until the day school opened. And we used to take trips over to Lake Normandy to wash our hands and face and what have you.
The celebration was for students, parents, and alums of all ages, and luckily the weather cooperated for the special day. The event was capped off with the unveiling of the students' permanent art fixture. Over 500 painted rocks set in concrete.
You guys do the rock? You guys paint the rocks?
We had to use a special type of paint pens.
And so every student has a rock?
Yeah, and then we all did our own rock and they put them here.
That's so cool.
With a dolphin that has a special feature.
So what happens is that the dolphin is lit by the sun during the day, and then at night it's going to glow.
And after the unveiling, a walk down memory lane for Councilmember Friedson, as he had no problem finding his face in his 5th grade class photo.
Yeah, this is me. Here we go. That's me.
From 1997.
Big smile on your face.
Always.
You were a happy guy.
I always had a smile.
Yeah.
It was a full circle event for many.
Yeah, it's cool.
Circle for you,
full
right?
circle.
Including Friedson, who had a hand in overseeing the rebuilding of Wayside when he was working at the state level in the comptroller's office.
Totally different school. Got knocked down. I worked on the project though, which is so cool.
It made this walk down memory lane even more significant to him.
Well, it's really humbling. You know, there's so many people who've been here. Some of my closest personal friends, all my siblings, all went through here. My mom was a very active PTA leader here, and to be able to play a small part in this big moment. Isabella Messerina.
Messerina, is she here?
Ah,
she's already waiting for us.
She knew. It is such a humbling opportunity, and it's also really kind of the tie that binds a lot of what's happening in my life. At the state level, I got to work on the project to rebuild this school. You know, really between my other life and my current life and my previous life, this is kind of the place that ties it all together. Happy 50th birthday. You look great, Wayside. Hope you look great on every birthday, and go Dolphins.
In Potomac, I'm Susan Kennedy for County Report This Week.
One school celebrated 50 years and another celebrated opening doors for the first time. After 2 years of planning, Snowden Farm Elementary School in Clarksburg was ready for the 2019-2020 school year.
A new school will open in Clarksburg this fall. At the April 29th Board of Education meeting, a motion was made to name it Snowden Farm Elementary.
All those in favor of Snowden Farm? And that is unanimous.
The school is named after the Snowdens, an African-American family that first settled in the area and founded a dairy farm in 1845.
I think this is an amazing name.
I think the name screams community, which is what we want our school to be, the hub of the community. And I think students understanding that history and Mrs. Woodson coming in and speaking to our staff and students will further facilitate us developing a community.
This is the Snowden farm, and it's the farm that I remember visiting so many times when I was a young girl. As we follow on over here, this is where the Snowden Farm Elementary School is going up now. The Snowden Farm was always a neighbor. They were always there to help when help was needed because this was a farming town. And of course, they had to rely on each other to be able to get things done. And the Snowdens were always there and helpful for whatever was going on in the community.
I hope the students will learn from the name Snowden Farm, the idea of giving back, the idea of lifting each other up, and the idea of community, which is what the Snowden family was all about.
Mrs. Woodson reflected on what this name means to her.
Everything. It's leaving a legacy. The Snowden legacy will be here for a long, long time. I was just proud to think that they thought enough of the Snowdens to think about name it the Snowden Farm Elementary School.
The Science Center on Montgomery College's Rockville campus got a pretty cool prehistoric addition. The T-Rex that was at Discovery was moved to MC.
A bit of Jurassic Park has come to Montgomery College as Stan the T-Rex is being assembled in the lobby of the Montgomery College Rockville Science Center.
So today we have our long-awaited arrival of our Tyrannosaurus Rex specimen, graciously donated from the Discovery Communications, and we are incredibly excited to have our own T-Rex at Montgomery College.
The T-Rex became available when Discovery opted to move their Silver Spring headquarters and donate some of their exhibits.
Over winter break, Brad Stewart and Susan Madden contacted me with a list of potential donations from Discovery Communications, and we decided that Stan here was our top choice. And fortunately for us, we were able to acquire it. It took a team effort. Everybody got on board, including the faculty. As soon as they found out we had the potential for this, they were enthusiastically in support.
The T-Rex is nicknamed Stan, after the man who discovered the remains.
So it was found in South Dakota in the Hell Creek Formation, which is a very famous formation that actually spans the end of the Cretaceous and the beginning of the Cenozoic, which is the age of mammals. But he found it actually in the late 80s was when he discovered the skeleton. It was dug up, excavated in the 90s.
And the acquisition puts MC in some very rare company.
There is no other community college in the nation. There's only 30 of these in the world. And the National Museum of Natural History has one of those. And Montgomery College has one of those.
And sure, it's an eye-catching exhibit, but MC faculty see Stan as so much more than that.
The Tyrannosaurus Rex has been a great way to educate the public and young minds about science. And we are going to be celebrating how, for scientists to understand how this animal lived in the past and what it was like, we need biology, physics, computer programming, chemistry, and math.
Trying to think of how can I turn this into a lab activity for the students, because it's one thing to look at slides or read the book about dinosaurs, but another thing to come down and have a face-to-face encounter with a T-Rex.
For County Report This Week from Montgomery College, I'm Shar Friedberg.
And with that, we close this edition of County Report This Week. Remember, you can find more information about Montgomery County on montgomerycountymd.gov or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Join us again at this time every week for a look at what's going on inside Montgomery County. On behalf of all of us, we wish you a safe and joyous holiday season. And remember, the county offers sober ride services over the holidays with Lyft. Visit soberride.com if you had one too many drinks during the celebrations. I'm Lorna Virgili, and happy holidays.